Hey guys, Adam here, and welcome to another On the Couch Rewind. First off, if it looks like I'm sitting in a different position, which I am, that's because the table that's usually in front of me is actually slightly to the side. Not only that, but I would sit in that direction and place the camera right behind that table like I usually do if it wasn't for all the boxes and stuff that's currently in front of it. Here, let me show you. See? See all the boxes? All the crap there and the crap there. Sorry. That's because we're actually in the middle of moving. Because school's actually starting up in a couple of weeks. I'm packing up, I'm getting everything ready, which means no Sin City when I will be there, or I will not be able to do Sin City, unfortunately, because that's a movie I would say at a pre-screening, but unfortunately we are moving the day after. I'm moving the day after, so I am not going to have time to be able to do the review, get it online before I have to leave. We have to leave really early. So, sorry. So there will be no Sin City, which means there won't be any Sin City Rewind, unfortunately. I'll try to get it up if I can, because I'll try to get to see Sin City when I can, but don't expect it anytime soon. I apologize to guys who are to people who are looking forward to the Sin City movie, to a new Sin City movie review. I'll say this: I am a big fan of the movie. It is one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. It really is. I'm not going to give a final score because I'm not technically reviewing it, but yeah, we are currently in the middle of a move. My sister's getting everything packed. I'm getting everything packed. My parents are getting everything packed because they're also moving. They're not staying here in Tennessee anymore. They're moving back. They're moving back to Florida. So expect, like I said, expect a new location in a couple of weeks. Hopefully my roommate will be okay with all this. Who knows? Maybe you'll see my roommate. All right, so back to Turtle Week. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze. So, as you all know, I love the first one a lot. How does the second one hold up? Not as well. Don't get me wrong, I still like it. I definitely still like it. It's just, it's a big fat fucking step backwards from what the first one brought us. And it's not the director, or it's not, I don't want to blame the director. I don't want to blame the actors. I don't want to blame anyone like that. Well, first of all, let me just go ahead and get the plot out. Sometime after the events of the first one, the Turtles are now living with April O'Neil, who's now played by Paige Turco. Splinter and the Turtles are living there while looking for a new place to live. Meanwhile, something is happening at a company, I want to say a pharmaceutical company, but I could be wrong, called TGRI, where they are trying to get rid of the mutagen, which turns out to be the ooze that mutated the Turtles. And also, Shredder has returned. Shredder survived his garbage day and is now trying to rebuild the foot in order to get revenge on the Turtles. And so he kidnaps a scientist and the last of the canisters of the ooze in order to mutate his own, to create his own mutant animals in order to destroy the turtles. Would have been a really good sequel. And here's if had they still retained elements of the cartoon but really made it like the comics, if for this one reason. If not for this one reason. Parents are pussies. I'm not kidding. The first one was a success. Not just with kids, but with fans. The fans really loved the first one because while it had elements of the cartoon, it mostly was based on the comic, which is a dark comic. It's pretty violent too. Parents had a problem with this. Parents had a fucking problem with the amount of graphic violence. Let me tell you something. No, yeah, Leonardo, yeah, they were throwing their weapons around, but nobody fucking died. Nobody fucking died. No foot ninja fucking died. I can tell you that right now. None of them died. Okay? Well, okay, maybe except for the ones that probably burned in the building, in the antique shop, but that was their own fucking fault. This movie is a big, huge step backwards because of that. The turtles don't use their weapons at all, little to none, at all. Casey Jones is left out. The jokes are even a little more childish. It's much brighter, and there's a bunch of gags that don't really work. Oh, and Shredder's not as intimidating. I mean, he's still fucking intimidating. He's just not as intimidating. Blame Parents of America because they're fucking idiots. I'm not blaming parents who took their kids to see this movie and thought, oh, hey, I'm gonna let my kid watch this. Hell, my dad didn't think it was that violent because he actually knew what it was. He actually understood what it was. I watched that movie not even getting an ounce of violent tendencies from that movie. Not once. This movie, while I still like it, looking back on it now, knowing what happened, it really lessens the impact of the movie, of what could have been a good movie, a really, really good movie, or a movie as good as the first one. It could have been. Lord. So yeah, but I mean, there are other problems with it, other than that. I'm trying to remember because I actually watched it a couple days ago, so I'm trying to remember everything. They brought in a new character, I guess, for the kids to relate to, because he's the only human kid character. Although, well, technically he's a teenager, but he's the only human kid character, and he also knows martial arts named Kino. He's the dude from Surf Ninjas, that's who it is. And he's a pizza delivery kid who runs into he's a pizza delivery guy who runs into the turtles in the beginning of the movie, which definitely shows what you're in for, because when the turtles show up, they're fighting an army of burglars. I want to say burglars. Late night shoplifters. There's like at least 20 to 30 of these guys. First off, that is not realistic. If you're gonna steal something, you don't bring in a fucking army of these guys, because that's gonna be really fucking suspicious. Let's see. And it's really just a very, very kiddish in this. Like, the fight scenes are very kiddish because they're, instead of using their weapons, they use like little toys and whatnot. Which, okay, yeah, they're ninjas. They had to use their environment. But they rarely even use their weapons once. Like, Leonardo uses his weapons, his swords, but he doesn't use it to fight them. He uses it to, like, throw them up in the air and jump up and kick people. I guess that's the use for your weapons, but any of them use any other weapons for anything else. Really at all. And it shows. It shows how much of a studio influence and a focus group, I want to say focus group influence, this movie had on this movie. And Shredder ended up going from the scary, intimidating villain that made me shit myself plenty of times in the first movie to basically the James Avery version in the 80s cartoon. I mean, no disrespect to James Avery. He was awesome. But he's while still intimidating, he's also very comical in an ironic sort of way. He is very much like the 80s version. Which is, again, right down to the point to where he's wearing purple in this movie. Paige Turco as April, not bad, not really necessary. Like, there really was no point in her. Most of the scenes you could have taken her out of. I'm not kidding. You could have taken her out of most of this movie and would have made a difference. I mean, while Judith Hoag while it may not have looked like April, Paige Turco does. Paige Turco looked like she could be April O'Neil. Just didn't have that same kind of attitude that April does. That Judith Hoag gave April in the first one. Not saying that she's a bad April, she just wasn't the right kind. What I felt like was the right kind of April. Okay, sorry. Splinter's still Splinter. Splinter's fun. Splinter's great. I love Splinter. He doesn't do much. Except for when he saves the turtle from getting skewered, but then he leaves instead of fighting. I guess it's due to budget concerns, but whatever. Even though the turtles still got their asses handed to him, he still is like, kids, and walks away. He's like, oh, my kids are getting their asses kicked. I better go help them. Because Splinter's really the best ninja around anyway. James Warner plays the scientist, and I like James Warner. James Warner is awesome. He has a great voice. I loved him in Tron. I love him as Ra's al Ghul in Batman the Animated Series. I like him as, I want to say the Brain, but I know that's not who it was. The Brain character in Freakazoid. It's been a while since I watched Freakazoid, so if you remember the name of the character, please put it on the comments, whether on Facebook or on YouTube, please. Because now I'm not, well, shit, I'm probably going to look it up later. Yeah, he's good. Honestly, he had more purpose in this movie than April O'Neil or Keno did. Hell, you know what? You could have just taken Keno out as well. Just made about the Turtles and Splinter trying to protect James Warner. That would have been fine. I would have been fine with that. I want to get to probably one of the biggest problems I had with this movie, and that's the animatronics. And this was done by Jim Henson. the Jim Henson Company. This was the first, well, probably not the first, but one of the first movies done by the Jim Henson Company after Jim Henson died. They're not as good. They're not as good as the first movie was, and it kind of shows. It really does. I mean, they had a bigger budget, but it doesn't really show with this. It doesn't really show with the animatronics. The suits look fine. The suits look good. They look like their actual bodies. But the heads just, for me, first off, the heads look huge. The heads are just giant. The heads are bigger than their bodies, is what it comes down to. The heads are bigger than their bodies. Donatello is the worst looking one. Oh my god, Donatello is really bad looking in this movie. I'll give this for Donatello though. The voice actor is better than Corey Feldman in the first movie. Because whereas Corey Feldman just was talking like a surfer dude, I couldn't believe Donatello as an intelligent person, because it's Corey fucking Feldman as Donatello. In this movie, I can believe that this is Donatello. This is a very intelligent turtle, because that's who Donatello is. Donatello is a very smart person, or smart turtle. Sorry. He's intelligent. He knows his machines. He knows science. And the person who voiced him is so much better in this. He's really good. And the only reason why they casted this guy is because Corey Feldman was in the middle of drug rehab. That is the only reason. They realized, oh, we can't get Corey Feldman. Let's get this guy. He actually sounds like an intelligent person. Why they gonna keep him in the third one? I have no idea, but we'll get to that next time. It's just some of the animatronics just wasn't very good. Especially in Toka and Reza. Toka and Reza looked like they were pulled right out of the cartoons. Literally. They looked that bad. They looked really, really bad. And when they turned back into their animal forms, you couldn't even, Reza doesn't look like a wolf, really. He looks like a really bad wolf. No pun intended. He really does. And I'm just like, what the hell is this? God. Oh my god. Honestly, I don't know what else to say about this movie. I still like it. Some of the action is really good still. There is still good humor in this. And I'll still watch it. Believe me, my nostalgia will kick me in the ass and tell me to watch this movie repeatedly, and I will. I'll give it this. And one other thing. I am not a Vanilla Ice fan. Never was, never will be. But I will rock out to Ninja Rap any day of the fucking week. Alright? Hell, I listen to it almost every day on my phone when I'm walking down the neighborhood to get some McDonald's or something. That's what I do. And I'll sing it out loud. People will look at me like I'm nuts or whatever. Hell, I was about to walk out of work when I started playing it, and I was rapping to it. Everyone at work was just like, "You're singing Vanilla Ice, ain't you?" I'm like, "Yeah? Fuck you, I don't care." And how implausible is it for Vanilla Ice, of all people, to all of a sudden come up with a #1 hit just like that, and the Turtles be able to dance very well, out of no, in sync. Final score, I give Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, and a 6 out of 10. That's I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. But I don't love it like I used to. Definitely not like how I used to. It's just not as good. It just really isn't. So yeah, I can't. So, but because of my nostalgia, because I grew up with this movie, I can't give it a lower score. It's just not Emmy. I can't do it out of good conscience, and I'm sorry. I understand if people don't like this movie. I get it. I get why people don't like this movie. But out of good conscience, I cannot hate this movie. I just can't. I watched it when I was a kid. I watched it when I got older. I'll continue to watch it even now. Even when I'm like 80-something years old, wearing old people diapers, shitting myself on a regular basis, and my non-existent kids are going to have to take care of me while I watch and laugh at this movie. That is how many times I will continue. That's how much I will continue watching this movie. I will see you guys next time when possibly the dark times of the Turtles. Until then, I'll see you guys then. Bye.